It's the transfer window in the PSL right now, and we've got two signings, two players that have come to two various clubs in Pretoria, and we will find out what it feels like to be at that club. Let's start out with the local man in Siyabonga Nhlapo. Siyabonga Ninjan. Good. But from Wits to SuperSport United, what made that move possible for you?
Well, as we all know, it's not a secret. Michael Boxall having left the club, and then I was left with Wits, an optional year. So I think they realized that by December I'll be free to sign with any team, like a pre-contract. So I think it was a good business deal for them to offload me to SuperSport, as well as SuperSport had an interest in me long before even Michael came in. I think even when Coach Kevin was still there at SuperSport, I should have been there. But then things never worked out then, and they have been pursuing, and it never happened. But I think now it finally happened, and I'm happy about it.
But last season, Okali season, you had Wits.
Yeah.
That means you were in with a chance to go and win a medal, ube a league winner. Halfway, you moved on loan to Highlands Park, and then now you're fighting for relegation. That must have been an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was. But for me to switch off from Wits to Highlands, it wasn't that difficult, because the first half of the season with the Wits, I wasn't that involved. Yeah, I couldn't break into the team because the team was doing well, and defense is something that you don't tamper with, and I respected that. And for me personally, I needed to play because my game requires me to play. I need to be fit.
And yeah. 16 games at Highlands Park, 90 minutes every game.
Yeah.
Fighting to survive.
Yeah.
How is that battle for survival? Is it hard?
It's very hard because I've been there before. But then I was young at Cosmos. I was there, and I didn't have the know-how as to what's happening. For me, it was just going out there and playing. But then I got to realize last season when I was with Highlands how important 3 points is. So mentally it prepared me for where I am today, and I think I've gained a lot rather than having lost, even though the team went down. But I think I've grown being there. Right
next to him is international for Ghana. You would have seen him at the Africa Cup of Nations. It's Brima Razak, a man who played his football in Spain up until this season, now moving to Mamelodi Sundowns. Razak, how are you?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm good, man.
Good,
but I'm surprised, you know.
Yeah.
You're in South Africa. You've been 4 years playing in the second division in Spain.
Yeah.
What made the move to South Africa when you could have gone, you know, anywhere, really?
Yeah. I have a contract with a Turkish team, you know, and this call come late, you know, but I was thinking, you know, and I think a lot before coming here, and I ask people a lot before coming here, and looking for Turkey, and yeah, I think I choose here. Why? Because I want to be big, like the way they are big, sound like, you know. So going for a team in Turkey who want to maintain the league, I prefer to be here, because from here I can go back to Europe, but I prefer to be here.
But I mean, it's not like you're going to walk into that #1 jersey. The man that Sundown supporters are calling Africa's #1. Dennis Onyango is sitting in the polls right now.
Yeah, that's what I say, because I'm someone that I love to compete.
You like competition?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I fight for my rights, you know. So I'm here to fight, and the coach will decide. So every single day in training, and every chance that they will give me will show. So
we have women that will be it's tough.
I think it's good. I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for our league. I mean, if you can see, back in the days, the league couldn't bring like North African players and West African players, especially Ghana's #1. So I think it shows that we're moving to the right direction as the league, and it's becoming more competitive, and the PSL can compete within even the continent. So I think it's good. I mean, if we have the African-based player, and as in Dennis and him, I think it's good for us.
And you're both internationals.
Yeah.
I mean, you played for South Africa. I'll never forget. And I don't know if you were also at that same tournament, 2015.
Yeah.
You played
the same hotel together.
Same hotel.
Yeah.
And you played against Algeria. He came off the field. Rivaldo Coetzee came off injured. You came on.
Yeah.
And then you had to mark Mahrez.
Yeah.
And that.
And he did very well.
No, what very well? It was 3-1 final score.
But, you know, it's nice football, you know.
Yeah, I only got to realize what you're saying now. When I watched List, I was like, this guy. No, it can't be him. It's the same guy. I was like, it's the same guy, but I think being in that position and at that time, as then I realized how blessed I am to have faced such people.
Have you, because this is the one thing that we have to ask you. One of the things that you became famous for was that you don't like it when the criticism comes. South Africa, we're going to criticize, let me tell you. South African fans will tell you when you've done something wrong.
No, it's
and
normal.
at the last AFCON, you got into trouble with Ghanaian fans when they said, you know, Razak is not doing well in goals. You went on Facebook, you had a lot to say, they had to fine you.
No, yeah, they fund me, the federation fund me, yeah, it's okay. But, you know, what happened on Facebook is that I'm on Facebook just normal days, just normal, you know. I'm someone that, my mom, she's everything to me, you know. They've been criticized, they've been saying things for me since I was in the national team like 5 years ago. I never said a word to no one, to nobody, you know. But if you come to the standard, you go straight and say things about my mother. You can. I'm the guy.
You were angry though, eh? You were so angry. I saw that video.
I was the one who was playing. So if you just insult me, if it is something like, but not my mother. To me, my mother, she's everything to me, you know. So coming out there saying things about my mother, I don't. And what I said is not. I did not insult Ghanaians. I just said negative people. I did not say Ghanaians. So they just changed the whole thing. So it's life, you know. I'll learn from it. Then going forward, you know.
What do you hope to do in South African football?
Well, like I said, I want to be big. I want to learn a lot, and I know that I'm right position, you know, right team, big coach, you know. So I'm here to learn. Like I said, any chance they give me, I'll make sure that I'll take it.
Who's going to win the derby? You're going to meet in the derby?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're going to win.
Oh, so Nandi, you even have the second side.
I'm a winner. I always want to win.
No,
So
you even got the sun.
Yeah.
No, sure. The drilling has been right. Shampoo-nizer, what have you got for us?
Glenn Majosi is coming for us. But I know I'm going to ask Ntiki what we're doing. Ntiki, what's the plan?
That's scary.
Tola, good to back to you, Thomas.
Let me let it there. Two gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. All the best with the season to come and all the best with your new clubs.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So there we're going. We're going to a break. And after the break, you've seen her. We'll hear from her, Pamela Nomvete.
Her bespoke items really do stand out.
It's very rare into
Catch 100% Youth this Thursday at 6 o'clock on SABC1 Zanzi for sure.
We are magnificence, purity.
We said that everything of the past remains in the past.
Creativity. Very dangerous game.
Gosh, where do you pick up all this stuff?
People could be seriously hurt. Intelligence. We are the truth that eludes us.
I mean, it's not as if we're an item. We're just good friends. Please, go. Hemba.
Oh my God! What's so funny, Pam?
What is that?
That's old school.
It really
Way
is.
back.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, good to have you with us on the show, Pamela Nomvete. I don't even know where to begin. Let's begin at the beginning.
Okay.
Born in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
How?
Of the food that you don't like?
No, I like Ethiopia. It's just that it's a bit bitter. Just a little bit sour for my taste, but I love the place.
Great.
How did you get born there?
My parents were exiled from South Africa in the 50s, and my dad ended up working for the United Nations many, many years later. And the headquarters was Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa. And then I was born in a Russian hospital.
Okay, and then how much time did you spend in Africa? Because the one thing that everyone noticed about you is you don't sound African, you don't sound South African. How much time were you here before you moved to the UK?
3 years, because we traveled around a bit, as one does. And we went to Zambia for a little bit, and then back to Ethiopia. So at the age of 14 is when I went to boarding school in the UK. Because when we returned to Addis Ababa, Haile Selassie had just been overthrown, so the country was in turmoil and schools were closed. So my parents obviously thought our education is paramount.
Now, before I had an opportunity to do a little bit of homework on you and read up about you, I thought acting was a glamorous career. I thought it was great.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
wants to be an actor. You're And then I read your story.
Yeah.
What?
Acting's tough. It's not glamorous at all.
Homeless. How do you get
yeah,
homeless?
Imagine that.
Living in the car.
Yes.
And you're in Ntsiki.
I know. Well, that was the weird thing, isn't it? Because people do become homeless.
Yes, they do.
But they're not famous and homeless.
And that was you?
Yeah, of course. Let me do it that way, right?
Hey? Is that for real?
I'm being serious, yeah. I was
in the car?
homeless.
You were sleeping?
In the car for about 2 weeks, yeah. I was sleeping at one of the garages.
Selling
petrol
clothes?
Stations. Yeah, did all of that. I'd hit rock bottom. And I guess the interesting thing about that, which is why being back here now is actually really important, I realize. Because that situation is not necessarily unusual with a lot of artists and a lot of South African artists. That's like too much of a familiar story. So it is interesting that happened to me. It's a bit like karma.
And you fought your way out.
And fought my way back, and here I am.
The UK, you acted there, and now you're back.
Yeah.
And you are playing one of the most inspirational people. There's a movie coming out.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about playing Leah Tutu.
Yes, that was amazing.
You are playing the role of the wife of the Archbishop.
Yes, indeed. And that was quite wonderful, actually, because it's not it's not a part that's normally played. You know, we don't really, a lot of our heroines, if you like, we don't really celebrate much. So to play Leah was quite extraordinary and a real privilege to do that.
She's been married to him for 62 years.
Yeah, and
she has to be a powerful person in his life.
She's a stalwart, but beautiful. I mean, their relationship is stunning. You know, I looked at that and I thought, oh, I'd love a relationship like that.
Did you get to interact before that?
No, it's really sad. I'll tell you, you know, I think that's something it's good to mention. I'm glad you said that. Because what often happens with these things is that because you've got a film that's with a Hollywood star and they're the lead and you've got all this amazing South African talent, but the South African talent is sort of treated secondary. So, of course, they're given all that time with them. I arrive, and it's kind of like, okay, you're on, like, next week. So you never got a chance to sit with Leah and say, to sit with Leah.
am I doing it right? Or how, you know, you never got those...
I had to study her through looking at footage and all of that, which I did. Amazing woman, and just really beautiful.
When is the movie coming out?
Well, this is it. Who knows?
But it's made.
It's made. We did it. Well, we did do it at the end of last year. That was the filming. And you know, with these things, it could take a year. It might be out at the end of the year. It might be out next year.
I'm going to be one of those in the queue to see it. But this is the Sport at 10 Cup.
Okay.
You can't have it. It's priceless. But the cakes you can if you give us a little bit of something on sport, right?
Okay.
We've got a couple of questions for you, Pamela. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. So let's start out with this woman. Can you recognize one of the all-time great runners from the country that you were born in, Ethiopia?
I think it's Dunoi.
Deratu Tulu. You're even laughing. We went to where you were born and we said, everybody knows Deratu Tulu. She has to. Okay, let's bring it back to South Africa, your country of origin.
I bet I know this one.
Can you tell me this great woman, absolutely sensational woman?
Let me think. Natalie du Toit.
Thank you very much. And then finally wrapping it up to go back to Ethiopia.
Oh, Lord, I don't know.
Come on.
I don't, man.
She's... Really? If I said Turanesh, Dibaba, no. But I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
You know what?
Because she's my homegirl.
Shampunizer, where are you? Come through.
Happy Women's Day. Happy Women's Day.
There's a lot of flowers there.
How sweet.
You're special and you're a woman and you're a strong woman. Happy Women's Day. And it's not just
and then I see Maud is standing here.
Come on over. No. I'm not discrimination.
No, but
Anyways, again, just to show that I'm a rock star, I'll give you a cupcake each.
Yeah.
Here's a cupcake. Thomas, I'll give you a handshake.
Thank you for the shake. Thank you very much.
No. Happy Women's Month. Happy Women's Day. Please stay strong. Happy Women's Year. You know, it's all about you. Thomas, when now? Happy...
Happy something.
You're fine. Happy birthday.
That's it.
But can I just tell you one thing, though?
Yes.
I'm coming back to South African screens soon.
you want to tell us where?
I can't.
You can't tell
But
us.
it is one of the... They said I can say that it is one of the most popular shows on South African television.
Scoop. Gave you the scoop. And on that note, we're going to leave you with the words we leave you with every single week. If you're not watching Sport at 10, what are you doing?
Sanbanani Makai. I'm Nogaka Velenchakama and I work for the TV division SABC